I'm sorry, I dropped the other video. I was saying, because it's hard to explain to people that these are multiple things, but they're not multiple things. That it's mathematics, you know. It's the fractal of a whole, which is division, all right? And someone tries to tell me, you know, their whole religion's based on division, and Christ came with the sword of blah, 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 blah. Jesus becomes Satan, blah, blah, blee, blee, blue. Grew up with those archetypes, forced into that petri dish of culture. Just last night, I got to listen to someone's triad about how that all made them a fractured, shadow, crushed piece of their self, and how they're going to perpetrate the opposite of that religion. No, you're not. You're perpetrating the same freaking exact religion that put you in that traumatic, fricked up state, and you're just using it, like I did, as an excuse to therefore punish the whole world because you're suffering, and God forbid you should have to suffer and everybody else shouldn't have to suffer along with you. So you're going to make that God suffer, and you're going to make those, well, there is not that. So you're making human beings who are your brothers and sisters, who are part of you, unhealed because you don't want to heal. You don't want to see yourself, because like every narcissist I've met, even the one in myself, from others putting that on me and me believing I was that, I had to break all those parts down to barely nothing, to insanity, to people trying to kill me, to getting involved in cults where, oh, finally I get rid of this stupid Mason from 2015 who's done nothing but hold me captive. And if I've explained that in other videos, so if you don't get how people brainwash you and do that to you, good luck facing that, because it's real. And if you don't, well, maybe you will in your next life, and you ain't got much to learn in this one. I don't know, because I don't wish that on anyone, because it's really not necessary. Bowing to your soul answers everything. But then if you're going to then therefore be a parasite, a Pharisee, same thing, religious Pharisee, and think you're better because you didn't have to suffer the way someone else did, you know, it's foolishness. You haven't learned anything. 222 on my counter. So I'm relearning, and I'm sitting back and just looking at people as children, like I did back when I lived with this person, and I finally got to my space where I saw my Kali contemplating Xing myself off in the bathtub because I was in the act of it and wasn't successful the last time I tried it, and I was going to be this time. And it was like, no, like this time the fierceness of a mother's love for this rose up in me, and it came with the image of Kali. And so I comprehend why broke and shattered shamanically, shattered souls are doing all of this shite with their art. And they'll say, oh, this is why, you know, we do these seances, we do these archetypical plays with Lilith, which they don't even know who the freaking Lilith is. But they think they do because they're following some reptilian or some demonic or some Christian, all the same thing, agenda, or Romanized agenda of abuse that they're still hanging on to from lifetimes ago. And they don't see how this cocktail of bacteria in a petri dish is all the frickin' same thing. And it's funny, it's led me back to the beginning of my search, where I was being led about the truths of inner earth and how some of us come from there, yet we're not from the stars, which is a lot of how I related not from the stars, because the star beings descend. They're an energy in the Middle Earth. They're above the Middle Earth. The Pleiadian sisters aren't separate from the earth as us, and in the earth as Dakini. So I've shared before about how I cut off all the archetypes in my life and went into this hermitage that was so solitude. I spoke to nobody. There was nothing but me. And within a month, I had cut off every single archetype I'd ever believed in with a sword, cut its head off, and put it under my feet as an archetype and nothing more. But the only thing that kept sticking and coming back was a certain Dakini who I feel like has helped to lead me on my path. Though there's been ancestors, mentors, guides, spirits, that is all me. It can't be separate from me once it interacts with me because it's a spirit. Same thing with demonic entities. When we talk about casting them out, you don't cast them out, you alchemize them. And I'll say cast them out because it's a wrong character and a wrong belief system to think that you have to hang on to these things and do as they say because they're your genius, your crown, your teacher, your one of your 10 kings or your kingdoms. But that's not having yourself in and under control because you don't believe nor do you see that those things are an integral part of yourself. And in every lifetime, if you don't expand by facing your fears, you're going to face them all at once at death, depending on how your soul has decided to reincarnate. Read any of the 3 books of the dead that I know of. There may be more. And Christianity, which people don't freaking get, also has a book of the dead in it. It's called Revelations. You know, you're not going to hell. You are making your hell. Then you get out of the hell that Christianity and the trauma that caused you, and you go out and you bring it to the whole world as Lucifer or Satanism or just your messed up excuse to be mentally ill. And you're like, oh, Sheila, don't say that. No, I've got mentally ill daughters that went through the same thing as me. I've got one who's lost, most likely to it, unless I figure out the way to heal her, which I totally believe has been healing myself. And I've only made contracts in this world to heal myself and 2 others in my monad. And the rest I feel confident that it's going to lead itself the way it's going to lead it. Now, why do I not feel confident in the other? It's not about confidence. That's about knowing. It's about walking with what I'm led to until Spirit tells me we're not going that way. And that in and out with these people has been about strengthening my own body, soul, and spirit and my character. And you know, in my videos, I talk about how you bow to your soul and then that soul opens, and there's a lot more physical exercises and mental steps and things your own body will teach you because God is residing within all the energy. And the more you expand that Holy Ghost, the more other energies that are like it can come in and minister to you and work with you. So I expand and contract so I can feel my own borders, like with dancing or like with pushing yourself with healing or pain or any exercise. It's necessary to find out that, you know, things are not what the petri dish of culture has taught you. And even my whole belief system with the Dakini and the Pleiadian Dakini, the 12 sisters and the 12 levels of heaven or spirit here, and where we choose to keep ourselves within that here on this earth, and what energies we're trying to become or evolve to. And there is a reptilian physical demoted agenda to have you evolve into something like, I don't know, you know, like when people go into the ground too long and they turn into a golem, and they're trying to convince you that devolving into a monster is the way to go. Well, that's because there's always been yin yang here, and there's always been a story. And if people are going to have to go back into inner earth, and the light spirits are going to have to reign and keep a balance there is also going to have to be dark spirits, and they're fearful and they live off fear and fear mongering and killing and destroying even each other in their own cell, which eventually they always do, because disease is never satisfied until it eradicates the whole of itself. Though it has to expel itself through the medium of us, it is ultimately about destroying itself, which the dark side is in any movie, in any play, in anything. So this is what we do when we do our shadow work. But if you don't think of it on a planetary solar system, and I believe that we are in a cell, that it is not just holographic, it's biology, but you need to get to a level within yourself spiritually where that biology is so mutable and transmutable to you that it is like a matrix, and it is like a vision, and it is like doing your visionary shamanic work. And that's hard to explain to people, and I don't know a lot of people who think like me, probably like one more sister that that I relate to. I have a few other people I do, but this woman is just, she very much works by herself. She's an elderly woman, and she works with some of the same guides I do, which are, to me, are local spirits that work in, under, and through a certain chakra in your body or energy systems. And they're related to planetary deity and stars and the earth and inner earth, because we're all that. We're these individual cells in the body. And humans are literally here being that spark between cells in order for this planet energy or this cell to maintain its living, dying, evolving atmosphere. And the end goal of every cell should be to be so full of energy and life that nothing can penetrate it and make it fail. This is my belief system. Most people believe that every cell eventually dies and should die. Well, I don't believe that. I believe that if energy within a cell is strong enough and powerful enough, that when that cell is broken down, if it can't be saved by, say, like the T cells or something like that, then it's going to be, the energy is going to be powerful enough to transfer then also to other cells and heal the whole. If not, then, then the whole system would cease to exist. And the system isn't the physical things. The system is spirit, the unseen, the mother, some people like to call that. Some people like to call it the word or the father. But to me, the mother spoke the father into existence, all right? And this has nothing to do with male and female, and women are better than men, and that's BS here, and we're all confused about that and messed up about that as much as we are religion. And all those false petri dish storylines, like men don't need women and women don't need men. But hey, why don't we bring it together and get along for the best and highest good of the whole? So let's just say that when you become male and female within yourself, in your heart space, and that expands, then that new thing is born, that Holy Ghost, that child. And whether you believe you received that from above, like a homunculus or a dove, or a jinn or a genius or whatever, it's a receptive higher power from another cell, or you believe that that was always you and it just needed to be birthed within you. That child grows, and it grows in the heart space, clears the third eye, clears the crown, makes this implosion, and then all the cells, and this is all something you can feel, okay? It's all something that you can literally express and feel. It's tangible. It spreads into every cell. It spreads into like a whole body orgasm. But it's not sexual. It's very different. And it's much more pleasant and beautiful. It's much more balancing and healing. And, getting to that point can be done in many ways. There's different mystery schools, left, right, left, dark, light, whatever, religions. All religions' books are mystery schools because mystery schools made them into mysteries, and they don't believe that neophytes should have certain information. But that doesn't matter because they also give it to the dark side. So the dark side has it too. So all in all, I've got like 2 minutes left on this phone. So all in all, I just wanted to make a video and talk about how I'm maturing and what's going on, and if and when my channel will be going forward. Like I said, I didn't know, and this is how Spirit leads me in day to day. And I can only express that as I do. Like, I will definitely pull more cards. Like this, another one is one of them I love. This is the Four of Wands. Talk about more wands. But I love the center where the thumbs are and the eye, and it almost to me looks like an angelic being or a seraphim. So there's people that call themselves seraphim and people that call themselves cherubim. And I just call myself me, and I sit back and watch it all. And I watch the archetypes play out, and I use the ones that make sense to me, that move in and through me as me. And I don't see my Holy Ghost as some homunculus or jinn or a genius or any of that stuff. Genius is when your jinn is when you still got so much of yourself operating out of shadow that you need to use the genius for evil or to be a hoodling, or maybe you grew up in that and you're stuck in that, whatever. Like, I'm not judging you. Never was judging people that I was caught up with in the hood. They did it to me. And I don't like what they do, and I don't have to like what they do, and I can express that in order to change and grow and help the whole to grow. But if they hate me and beat me down, they're never going to reach their potential. And so it's something that I've grown confident in my self-love and my power and my energy. So thank you.